perfectionism too is like a fog. It is going to attack you. It might destroy you. Your friends that were telling you the wrong things about who God is, shut it down and bless them. It's such a shame. The world is so busy. However, it's time for Focus Conversations. Hi, everybody. It's Victoria Ruth, the host of Focus Conversations, and thank you for being here with me today. This is a podcast where we talk about, the nitty gritties of life and how to get through it, how to get over it, and how to get to it. You feel me? So, today's episode is over Victoria Patton's episode that just came out. And with her episode, the bulk of it, or at least the bulk of what I want to talk about today as it relates to her episode, is perfectionism. And perfectionism, in a way of like how it can really erode your spirit, and but it can also be like a good thing too. It can also help you. It can also get you to newer heights, better places, better things. It's just a balance. It's just a beautiful balance that I think people need to have when it comes to striving for being the best version of yourself. And you also have to understand the root cause of you even desiring perfection. In hers, I know she talked a lot about her root cause of perfectionism was her mother and her grandmother really instilling in her, like, you have to be the best. You have to be this. You have to be that. You have to, all these things. And so normally when you do that to a kid, especially when they love and revere you, they are going to take that up here. I do know, especially with young girls, when you just beat into them that they need to be perfect, they need to be the best, they need to be this, they need to be that, and you don't give them praise though and let them know how well they're doing, and even though if they do mess up, that you can lead them down a path. As you guys know, I work with a lot of kids already. And just if you didn't know, I do work. So I have a studio called Studio Ruth, and I teach art. But through the art, it's really emotional healing. Are you a business owner and do you need help with content, creative projects, or outreach? Well, I have a solution for you. Through Studio Ruth, I source and manage talented creative interns for businesses, helping you get the support you need while giving young creatives real-world experience that moves them closer to their dream careers. It's all about bridging the gap between talent and opportunity. If you'd like a little bit more information, head on over to studioruth.com. Can't wait to chat with you. I think God gave me a gift to speak to children, to pour into them, to encourage them, to just like, be what it is that I wish I had. And it's so beautiful. It is, I genuinely love it. I love it so much. I have this one little girl. Skylar is so sweet. She is like the sweetest girl. And she's one of the girls I realize she needs a lot of affirmation. And it doesn't bother me any. And this is just a PSA out there to teachers. If you're going to teach and you don't like to encourage, I don't know if that is the profession for you. I have met a lot of teachers that roll their eyes or get angry with kids, or, just for them being children. Now, don't get me wrong, they need structure. I'm the fun teacher, so I don't have to be as like, hey, listen up, but I still know how to put them in line when it's time, and they still get to have a lot of fun. They get to experience life and be encouraged and uplifted. So you just got to be able to do that. And you know what I'm going to say if you don't know how to do it. You got to pray. You got to ask God. You have to thank Him for giving you the ability and showing you yourself and where you're lacking in that area. However, when it comes to perfectionism and how that has affected my life, honestly, the first thing I think about good thoughts. And the reason I think about good thoughts, the shirt line that I made is effortless plug. Go to focusconversations.com if you would like a good thought shirt to usher in those well thinking thoughts. Before we continue with this episode, I want to talk to you about the Good Thoughts merch. When you buy something from the Good Thoughts line, you are not just buying merch. The proceeds help me pay the interns who support this platform, and they also help fund my journey back to school to become a clinical psychologist so I can continue helping people on a deeper level. So if you believe in this mission and this is something that you can get behind, go ahead over to focusconversations.com and order your very own Good Thoughts t-shirt or affirmation shirt. And also remember to choose your thoughts wisely. I think about that because I used to be really, really hard on myself. Like, so hard to the point where I was so mean to me. I remember there was one time, and I know this isn't the episode that we're talking about this, but it goes back to me thinking, I was fat as a kid. And I remember sitting on my friend's couch and I was like screaming and grabbing on my stomach. And I was just like, I'm so fat. I was just like, I just used to be so mean to myself. And then, perfection, I would even say that the eating disorder was a cause of trying to be perfect, trying to look and be something in somebody else's eyes. You know what? Let me find the definition of perfectionism, because I genuinely think that's a part of it. I think part of trying to be perfect is trying to live up to what other people think you are supposed to be. Let's see, perfectionism definition. Okay. I might give you two definitions. So perfectionism is a personality trait characterized by a relentless drive for flawlessness, setting excessively high, often unattainable standards, and evaluating self-worth based on these achievements. Setting excessively high, often unattainable standards and evaluating self-worth based on these achievements. Ooh, geez Louise. When I tell you that used to be me, I mean, I guess it can still kind of be me, but what I've learned is how to like reverse engineer my ideas so that I can take them step by step instead of putting so much pressure on myself to be like, okay, this has to be like this. This has to be like this. Like, it would almost be a battle of like, I wouldn't even get things done. And if you've dealt with this before, you'll know what I'm talking about. But I almost wouldn't get anything done because it had to be perfect. I had to be perfect. I had to, like, it was so crazy. I'm trying to think of like a specific moment. So when I was younger, I used to do karate. And I remember a few years ago, I asked my aunt if she remembered when I was little how I used to just like be in the mirror all the time. And she was like, yeah. And she had brought up this one time at karate where like I was like getting ready, putting on my little, what are they called? Do you know what they're called, Abiola? Is it just a robe? Your karate robe? Because I was putting on like, the outfit basically. And I was in the mirror, I was putting on my G. I like that. I was in the mirror and I was just like standing there staring at myself, just like trying to make sure I was like pretty. Like, girl, you about to go do karate. Go out, go into the dojo. Like, what are you doing? You know what I mean? And we laughed about that. But that was just, I would say my perfectionism came in from like, I wanted to make sure I was pretty. I wanted to especially growing up the way I did. So like my brother is blind in one eye. And I had mentioned in another episode, like he needed like a lot of help and stuff like growing up. And so and my dad was a single dad up until I was about 8. And so I was just kind of like a little mother. I've always been that. Even in college, people used to call me Mama Vic. Like I've always just been like a mom, and I kind of like it, honestly. It doesn't really bother me any. That's probably where I work with kids now. I like to nurture, cultivate, and bring forth something in somebody. And so, but I was lacking doing that for myself because I didn't know how. I didn't have that nurturing, cultivating woman in my life. And so instead, I just had like these powerhouse kind of women, I had a lady in my life who was, for lack of better words, kind of mean. Like sometimes when I think about growing up, I think about like my life was kind of like Cinderella, is she? If I'm honest. But I wasn't, given words of affirmation about being the best version of myself. And so I remember there was a specific family member when I was younger. And like I said, I've always been very direct, very driven, very like, I'm Victoria Ruth. Nice to meet you. I've always been that person. Believe it or not, though, I used to be shy, and I don't know how that works. I don't know. I'm not super into astrology, but I am a Gemini. And so I think that like duality is where that comes in, like that, like shyness kind of thing. Y'all don't cancel me. I'm not saying with like all the new age stuff. I'm just saying like, I think some things can be aligned with astrology and whatnot. But yeah, I used to be super shy as a kid. It would depend though. It was more so like if I had to go do stuff like without my brothers or something, like I would call it, maybe it's not even a shyness. Maybe I was observant. I was more so and I've always been. I'm a very observant person. So like when I walk into a room, I'm going to take the room in. I'm not going to be the loudest person right when I walk in. I'm not going to Now I'll warm up and I'll become that just because I'm just a loud person in general. Like it's even hard for me to like hear me sometimes, like how if I'm loud, like me talking like this and me talking like this, I feel it more than I can hear it. It sounds about the same to me. But anyways, so yeah, I used to be a little bit shy. And oh, that's what I was getting at. So there was a family member one time, like this was definitely a seed planted in me that turned into like that wanting of to be perfect kind of thing, right? I had spent the night over her house, and this was like my first time of us ever having fun because she was just so mean all the time. And I'm not the one. If you're mean, you're nasty, you're negative, I'm not about to like beg you to like me. Like that's I just no. I will go be by myself before I go do something like that. And so I had spent the night and we were playing cards and we were finally having fun. And it was crazy because I just had the thought. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm finally having fun with her. And then she looked at me out of nowhere with like this scowl on her face. And she was like, you're just a nasty little girl. Nobody would love you. She was like, if your father died, who would want you? Nobody would want you. That hurt me so bad. When I tell you, like, as this podcast goes on, I will tell you guys a lot of the like awful things some of the adults in my life have told me. And it is nothing but the grace of God for me to be who I am, because I could be somebody else. I could be a really mean, mean girl, like not a girl's girl. I could be a lot of things. I could probably have been strung out on drugs. I could have been a baby mama by now. Like I could have been so many things because of the way that people, older adult family, talked to me. God saved my mind. There's a song, Higher by Madison Ward, where it's like God save her mind. Like every time I hear that part, I'm like, thank you, because he definitely has whatever he has put into me. I am so grateful. I'm grateful for my childlike joy. I am so, so, so grateful, because I could be somebody else. Like the perfectionism could have taken over me, like just like trying to just like basically like I would say the form of perfectionism that I dealt with was like like I wanted to be loved. I wanted like my family's love. I wanted to be like I guess words of affirmation, praise, like you're doing a great job. And I'm not going to say just like everybody in my family was like awful. I love them. Don't get me wrong. It wasn't every single person, but there were I'm going to say a select four, and not consistently. It ebbed and flowed, depending on where they were in life. But two of them were consistently mean. And so mine came from that eagerness to just feel accepted for who I am and to be loved for who I am, because it really, when I'm going to say in my later, like adolescent years is when it really got hard for me, because that's when a lot, and I guess, would you call that verbal abuse? Talking to someone like that, that's when that started. And man, I just remember, even like trying to get good grades. I mean, I didn't really have to try to get good grades. I kind of didn't have to try. And I was just like, oh, okay, here's just like another thing. And so I remember the first time my parents are going through a divorce, and my first time my grades started slipping, because I used to be like a straight A student. I think I had a C or something. Like, I got a C. Not that big of a deal. And I remember my parents got so mad at me. Like, I would get grounded and stuff. And my brothers were so bad. Like, when I tell you they were really, really bad. And maybe I'll talk about how bad they were in a later episode. But they were like the quintessential black boys in suburbia trying to be like hood, and ain't never been to the hood and don't know what the hood is. Like, they tried to start a gang. Anyways, that's not the point. They were like 15 or something. That's not the point. My point is, okay, so I got like a C one time. And I just had put my head down because they were just going and going and going. I remember put my head down on the kitchen table, and I was like, I just yelled, and I was like, I'm doing the best that I can. And then I remember one of my parents looked at me and like jumped at me, and they were like, who are you yelling at? And I was like, ah! I was like, not you. I was like, I'm just tired. That's what I ended up saying, because I was like, we're not doing that. You know what I mean? But just to give you like an idea of how perfect I felt like I needed to be, like I couldn't get less than a B. I think too, because so growing up in the house in an on and off years or whatever, there were four of us. And my youngest sister is about 10 years younger than me. And so I was the baby until she was born, right? And if you ask me, I was the golden child, if you ask me, because I wasn't, like I said, I was like a little old lady. I wasn't bad. I loved to read books. Like, I literally used to hide in my closet from my family and read books in my closet. Like, that was me. I just wasn't, I don't know, I just wasn't rowdy. I was never looking for external validation outside of my family, you know? And I feel like even God right now was telling me that maybe that used to be an idol for me. That used to be an idol for me, my family. And now I'm being broken free of that, because the only person that matters about whether or not I'm perfect, whether or not I'm good, is Yahweh. That is the only one. That is the only one that matters what they think of me. And the same for you. The same for you if you're battling trying to, even like, it even comes down to like, now I don't even take that much time to edit photos anymore. I will just post. I have one friend where she made fun of me. She was like, you will just post a raw picture. Like, you don't put no touch up. I was like, no, because if I keep waiting and waiting, I'm never going to post anything. Like, if I will dissect something to the very mole that I have on my nose. Do you know what I'm saying? I just don't have time. Like, I literally don't have the time. I don't even want to send it through AI. I don't want to do all these things. I just want to be me. That is it. And then if there's anybody that has any kind of, okay, this is a good one, especially for my girlies, especially for my high vibe girlies. Maybe you might be a little on the neurodivergent side, all these little definitions we all got. You might have a little AD, something, I don't know. But for the girlies that shine bright, let me tell you about a guy when they think that you're too perfect for them, right? Now, in the past, I have dated two guys that I guess, for lack of better words, couldn't handle my beauty, I would say. And so this most recent one that just happened, I was like getting ready. We were about to go out, and I was putting on makeup, and he was like, why are you putting on makeup? He was like, you like, what are you doing? Like, why are you wearing makeup? Mind you, we're about to like go out, like out, like I'm cute, dressed up, kind of a thing. And I was like, what are you talking about? I wear makeup every single day. And he was like, you do? Like, I can't tell. And I was like, well, that's the point. Like, it's not supposed to make me look like a different person. It just kind of just wakes me up a little bit, And so then he's sitting there watching me and he's like, yeah, I just don't get it. Like, he's like, like, why are you putting makeup on? Like, why are you doing this? Now, the old me, the me that was like hurt, down, and broken would have internalized that. I would have been like, well, what do you think? Like, I mean, am I doing something wrong? Like, how can I make it better? But then I just looked at him and I just kept doing my makeup. And then I finished because he was like, oh, now your face doesn't even match the rest. And I was like, what are you talking about? And then he looked at me and he was like, oh, I'm sorry. I've just been drinking. Like, you look good. You look good. I remember you telling me that you've dated somebody in the past before that like never complimented you or like always had a problem with how you looked. First of all, even with that, I understand too when people are like, don't tell new relationships like the things that have gone wrong, even though I'm obviously doing this on the internet now, but I just literally don't care anymore because I understand the psychological games, you know what I mean? And so he started apologizing and I was like, you're fine, you don't have to apologize, it just lets me know that you feel too insecure to be with me. And then I just walked out the room. Because how are you gonna be mad at me because I put on skin tint, blush, and mascara. And every now and then I might put a little eyelash on the corner and a little lip gloss. But really I'm a chapstick girly. So it's like I was like, no. I was like, I'm not internalizing this at all. And then that was the end of that. You know what I mean? Because you can't let people pour into your spirit to make you think you should be something other than what the Abba Father has called you to be. You are perfect in the way that you are. There is nothing more to strive for besides his love. You do not need to do the most. You don't have to be the flashiest, the loudest. You don't even have to be quiet. There is nothing that you have to do besides read your word, be who you are, pray, and do the things that are going to keep your spirit alive and whatever that looks like. So even if you're in school right now trying to have good grades, even if you are a doctor, a marketing executive, whatever you are, whatever you're doing, a student, an intern, all you have to do is your best. You know what your best is. You know when you're falling short. We all have that quiet voice. Mine's loud now because I've asked for it to be. But that quiet voice that's like, you should be doing X, Y, and Z. You know when you need to wake up. You know when you need to be on time. You even know when it's okay to be late. It even goes like that. Like, you know. So I urge you and I pray over you right now in Jesus' name that all doors and windows, voices, echoes that are not of God, that I rebuke them to the pits of hell right now. I pray over your ear gates so that you can only hear the words of the Lord that come out of people, and anything else, let that fall deaf to you in Jesus' name, because people are miserable. If you haven't understood that yet, people are so miserable, and what they do is they spew it out. They just spew misery. And if you can't catch that, if you can't see that before it's coming, it is going to attack you, and it might destroy you if you don't have your armor on, the breastplate, the helmet, your boots, your shields. If you don't have that, your sword, which is your Bible. If you don't have these things, people will try to tear you down, especially if you're a high vibe person, because the issue is they don't understand why you're like that. They don't know how you are who you are, and it's nothing but a gift from God. So I'm urging you that if you're dealing with perfectionism, if you're dealing with beating yourself up, feeling like you're not enough, feeling like you're not somebody that's worth the time of day, stop doing that. And what I want you to do instead is I want you to wake up in the morning. I want you to go to the bathroom, and I want you to tell yourself who you are. I want you to say the best, even if you don't believe them yet. I am beautiful. I am smart. Oh, what is that? Off the movie. You is kind, you is smart, and you is important. Seriously though, I want you to do those things. I want you to say these things to yourself. Even if it's, I am so happy and grateful. Thank you, Jesus, for my $1,000,000. Thank you for the wealth. Thank you for the family. Thank you for the people who love me. Thank you that I have so much love around me this year. Even if you don't see it yet, be grateful. Usher it in. It's going to come. You will start to align with the vibration of the things that you want. Your voice, your words, this is a vibration. This carries a frequency. And you have to be intentional with that. That is why I made good thoughts. That's why I made my shirt line. You can even go get you an I am enough shirt because you are enough. You're worth it. You can get an I'm worthy shirt because you are worthy. You can get just simply good thoughts. I use my time wisely. You can make your own affirmation because this is important. Who you tell yourself you are is extremely important because the world is going to try to tell you. The world is going to try to tear you down. Your family, your friends, the people you have around you, especially if you're not on the right vibration yet. Especially if you're not, because it's kind of like people can like sniff that out, right? People can kind of sniff when you're seeking approval. People can kind of sniff out when you're searching and you're wanting for something. When you have an ache in your heart, when you have a hole in your spirit, people can see that. And there are a lot of manipulative people out there. There are predators out there. And I'm not saying that to scare you. I'm telling you to so you can boss up, guard up, get ready. You know what I mean? Like be ready. You don't have to be a sheep. And you don't have to be a wolf in a sheep's clothing. Guess what you get to be? You, a child of God, somebody that's declaring saved. I don't even really think I have anything else to say. If you're battling perfectionism, my blueprint on that is shut out the noise. If you have to do a 30-day fast like I did a few years ago, I had to shut out some noise. I had a very toxic friendship, and her family was extremely toxic. Her mom wrote me the nastiest text. I didn't even read it. I let my friend read it, and she was like, yeah, no, you don't want to read this. I was like, the nastiest stuff I have ever. I would never talk to somebody like that. Ever, 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 ever. I had to shut the noise out. I had to shut it down. So I went on a 30-day fast of no noise, no talking on the phone, no music, none of that. I might have even mentioned that before, but I probably didn't tell you why. And the why was because I had really negative people around me. And actually, I had just moved to Georgia. I had just got my own place. And that was another wilderness season. I was by myself a lot, you know. And so, yeah, shut it out the noise. That's number one for the blueprint. Shut down the noise. If it's not positive, if it's not pouring into you, and even in that season too, I was only listening to positive things, praise and worship music, things that were going to grow my mind, grow my spirit, heal my heart. That is what I was doing. Do those things. Pray. Bless those people, just like Job did. Just like Job did. God came and told Job at the end of his suffering, he said, bless the people that were treating you wrong, your friends that were telling you the wrong things about who God is. Shut it down and bless them. That's what I had to do with that friend. I got on my knees. I prayed. I was snotting. I was coughing, and I released her. And I was like, God, please cover her. I was like, please save her. Save her from herself. Save her from the negativity that is around her. Do that. If it's your family, it doesn't matter who it is. It could be your dog. Maybe your dog's crazy and trying to bite everybody. I don't know. But do what you need to do and release that. Shut down the noise and only pour into yourself good things. Good things for your actual body and good things for your spirit, your system, and your mind. Okay? That's number one. Second thing, if you're battling perfectionism, get into the word. It's going to tell you over and over again, you cannot be perfect. There is no way. There is nobody on this earth. We're all sinners. We're all going to fumble. We're all going to mess up. Then repent. And repent and then change. Because what's the point of repentance if you're going to keep on keeping on? You know what I mean? Do something. You got to do something different. That's an inside joke with my sister and I. But you got to do something different, okay? If you want something different, you have to do something different. Even if it's just one change. Even if you can only commit to 30 days of just one simple change. Maybe you're just going to read before you go to bed. That's what I like to do. It makes me sleepy. So I read before I go to bed. Maybe you're just going to start walking once a week, a couple miles. Do that. Just do something different to change your atmosphere, change your heart posture, change your mind, and bring in God, okay? And then if I had a last point for perfectionism, let's see, I said shut out the noise. I told you to get in your word because it's going to let you know you can't be perfect. I think the final thing would just be to do your best. Do your best. Maybe write down a goal you have and then write down underneath that what it looks like for you to do your best. Be real about it. Be real. Pray for that. Say, God, give my hand and my mind a realistic view of me accomplishing this goal. And or reverse engineer the goal. What does it really look like to do this? Maybe for an hour a day, you need to sit down and do some research for a week before you can even start it. You know, maybe then, map it out. That kind of helps with that because I feel like perfectionism too is like a fog. You know what I mean? Like you don't really know what you want or like how to do. And so you just create all this pressure so that you feel like you're doing something. You know what I mean? So write it down, make a shift, make a change, pivot, and then that would be it. That would be my blueprint on healing perfectionism. Be careful how you speak to yourself. Be very intentional about the people you have around you and how they speak to you. And once you do, if you really go on that silence fast, you're not gonna really want to be around it. If you need it and you feel like you have those kind of people, you're really gonna witness. You're gonna bear witness to a lot of the negativity and the negative spirits that people have on them, in them, and around them. And you're not gonna want it anymore. And then you can just ask God for new friends. He'll give them to you. He does it every time for me. I haven't, that's interesting because I haven't asked for that. I think because I know I'm in a fortifying period. I want to be fortified, and I'm finding the joy in it. I'm finding the joy in the fortification. Okay. And so, yeah, do those things. Blessings on blessings on blessings to you. I'm praying for you and with you. If you would like to join me in the Esther Year program that I've started, you can go to focusconversations.com on the membership site and you can join. It's just a cohort of women that want to take a year off of trying to be for anybody else. I'm done with that. I want to be what God wants me to be. That's what I want to do. And I want to be that to the fullest. I can feel it. I can feel the joy. It's almost like I can smell the beach. I feel like maybe I'm going to go on a 5-star 2-week vacation very soon. Speaking into existence. But I can smell it though, honestly. I can smell it. I can feel the sun on my skin. So, yes, get in your word, shut the people out, write down your goals, reverse engineer them, be realistic on how to accomplish them, set a little timeline, and you got this. You really do. Join the Esther group. If you want to take a break from dating, doesn't mean you don't live your life and have fun. You can still go outside and do things, Maybe you don't need to be drunk, but I mean, I'm not a big drinker, but I will have a glass of wine every now and then. So, just join if you need community and staying in that. Maybe there's some toxic person you're trying to get away from, or you need friends. You need somebody to talk to, community. Join with us, and definitely check out the website so you can get those affirmation shirts so you can remember. Not only remember, remind yourself, and then you can tell other people who you are and only address me correctly. Okay. Well, thanks for joining. Thanks for tuning in. And until next time.